Hi there guys, so once you got everything from my list from the first video, you should have the mini speaker, a 5-inch screen by Waveshare, and on the back is a Raspberry Pi 3. It's powered by the HDMI and there's a micro SD card attached to it. This is the Power Boost 1000C from Adafruit. This is the audio amp, also from Adafruit. Has a closer look. This is just a regular power switch. And then you have a lithium battery. This is a 3000 milliamp one. My previous one was only a 2000. This is much bigger. Next we have some shrink wraps. These are good for insulating wires. Also got a lighter for that. Some solder, some wires, and obviously your solder iron. So the first thing I'm gonna solder is the power boost. So as it comes, it's not soldered. So just place that on. Make sure your solder is hot. And zoom up. And just solder the points where the pins are. So once you've got everything soldered, the next thing we're going to move on to is the audio amp. So a good tip is use one of these handy tools. You could just pick one up from eBay, but it's just to hold your component steady, so when you're soldering. So I'm gonna prep up these points. So there's 2 points at the bottom, and then there's 4 pins. You can ignore the one in the middle. For some reason I soldered it anyway, but you could just ignore that one. So it's just the 2 on either side. Okay, so once you've got those points soldered, I'm just going to compare it to how I had it previously on my first Nescade. So as you can see, the amp just sits right there, and it doesn't need that much wire connecting to the power booster and the Raspberry Pi. I would say only a few inches. So you get a few of these wires, so you only need 2 wires of each. So just have it 2 colors. So I've got green and black on mine. So just get at least 4 pairs of wires and snip them probably about a few inches each. And what I'm going to do with these is tint the ends, so make the wire exposed on either end and just put a bit of solder on either side. Okay, so once you've tinted all your wires, the next thing to do is connect the speaker to the amp. Now the speaker, when you get it, the wire isn't, I feel it's not that great, so I like to remove those and just replace it with some new ones. Okay, now we need to connect the amp to the speaker, and the two connections. Oops, gonna need to focus. So the connections that you need to connect them to are the two at the bottom there. So I don't think it really matters which way it goes round. Okay, now we've connected the speaker to the amp. The next thing to tackle is the power booster. So the points that you need to solder is the ground and the 5 volts, and the ground and the EN next to that. I'm gonna put some better pictures just so that you can see in the description, and I'll also put a link to the the Adafruit help guide, and they've got much clearer pictures for you to see. Okay, so once you've connected those up, the next thing to do is connect up your power switch. So there's one end that you don't need, so all you have to do is just snap off one of the ends, doesn't matter which one. Now you have to tint the ends of the power switch. And attach some cables to it. I've also put some shrink wrap just to secure it so it doesn't touch any other metal. So the power switch connects to the EN and ground. So when you switch the switch to uh, where you put the positive cable um, to EN, it would switch it on, and when it switches the other way, which is negative, it will switch it off. Okay, so once you've got everything all connected, the next thing is to test that it works. So I'm just going to plug the power directly into the Raspberry Pi just to check that it's working, and then I'll move on to using my setup. So plugging it directly, you can see that it boots up. Okay, so next thing to do is connecting the amp to the Raspberry Pi. The way in which we do that is connect on the amp. There should be a connection that says A plus and A minus. Just connect those, and then at the back of the Raspberry Pi, where the headphone jack is, you would need to connect it to those points. Again, I'm gonna send you the link to the Adafruit instructions. They have much clearer pictures, so I would probably suggest following that. Okay, so once you've connected everything together, the next step is actually to test that it's working. So I'm gonna be so it's the USB that powers the Pi. So at one end I've got a charging port, and the other end is going to connect to the Raspberry Pi to power it on. So going to connect that, and then you have a power switch. So fingers crossed, and it powers on. So that's great. So the next thing to do is test that the battery is working. So we know that it's working without the battery. So just take the battery and plug it in. So it's connected to the battery. So all I have to do is switch it, and it turns on. Great. So the next thing to do is just test that it charges the battery. So get your USB charger and then plug it in directly. And you can see that it's turned orange. So we know that it's charging.